I got to block the light here.
Are you blocking the light, Danny? You guys, I just asked Danny Knowles if he's ready, and his answer was always. And this is the kind of person that I'm sharing with the world right now. Dr. Danny Knowles has been in my life for almost 30, maybe older, more longer than 30 years. And we went to chiropractic school together, and I have watched him create such greatness in this world, not only for chiropractic, but for the communities that the chiropractors who know, trust, and love him serve. So, hi, Danny.
Hi, we don't have to talk about how old we are, do we?
Yeah, we do. It's part of the pre-rec. You didn't see that in the fine print.
Hi, Jody. Thank you for having us here.
You're welcome. So, how do you love practice? How do you do it? What do
Well,
you do to create joy?
well, thank you for having us here. Thank you for being a friend for 30 years or whatever number of years it is. Thank you for whoever's joining us live. If you're watching live, if there's a way to comment or hit a like button, please do that so we know you're there. I'd love to see what planet you're on, or at least what city, so you can put that in there. You know, really, how do you create joy is think of something bigger than yourself. And when you're taking care of people, it's when you're really in service, when you're not focusing on you and your needs, it's really hard to not be joyful. And people ask me all the time as I'm walking around the adjusting room taking care of people, when they ask, how are you doing? I say, I'm changing spines, lives, and minds. It can't be better. So like when you're taking care of other people with whatever gift you have, I mean, regardless, whether you're serving people, pizza in a pizza place, when you're really in service, when you're not there about you, then and you're putting a smile on someone else's face, it's hard to not be in joy.
Hmm.
And that's the thing when you focus on your own world, your own things that you have going on, and can't put that out of your field. That's when there can be pain in that place. So I think that's the important thing to remember. There was this one time. I don't know if I'm allowed to just keep speaking, but I'm gonna.
Go. They're tired of
There
hearing
was one
me. You talk.
I remember very distinctly, which we were going away on a vacation that I had worked and saved and looked forward to with our kids, and for a really long time. It was like a lot of energy to be able to go on this vacation and line up things. And on the morning of going to the airport, I was in a cranky mood. I was in just, I say, a bad mood. And it was like 4 a.m. It was one of those flights you have to go 4 a.m. To wherever we were going. And I remember just being not in a best mood. And I was going on vacation, you know. And I got to the airport, and the sky cap who was taking our bags, he was so chipper and so positive and so happy. And he was carrying my bags at 5 a.m. or whatever it was, and I was going on vacation. I was cranky. And I remember that anytime if I'm not in that space, I think of that sky cap,
Hmm.
like, it's your state that you have to master,
So how do
and if you're,
you catch yourself if there I think what happened in my world, Danny, is that I stepped into the speaking world of wellness circles. I started speaking on stages, and the more I got to know wellness practitioners from all over the world, the more I saw there are so many people who are just miserable in practice. So I said, well, let's do something about it. Let's spark joy. Let's make joy contagious, right? So I think that where people get tripped up the most is, how do you catch yourself? How did you catch yourself when you were going to the airport? Was it Rochelle saying, "Dude, we're going on vacation. Will you chip her up?" Like, what do you do to check in?
see, here's the thing, what you said, let's make joy contagious. You don't have to make joy contagious. It is contagious. It already is. And if it's not in your world, there's something that you're doing. There's something that you're doing relative to your state, how you're using your resources, what you're focused on, how you have things organized, or your behavior sets that are not effective for joy, and you're doing something to block that.
Mm.
right? And not access it. It's not that joy or, is not contagious. It always is. It's like the sun is already there. It's just the clouds are getting in the way in some way, right? So somehow you're organizing things in terms of your internal resources, external resources that are not favorable to it. So you have to figure out your formula, because my formula might be different from someone else's. In that example, I have to see someone else enjoy it. And then
Mm.
it clicked for me that, oh, I'm not mirroring that myself. But that's a perception strategy. That's a perception strategy. And not everybody has a perception strategy, right?
Hmm.
Everybody, some people are wired differently. There's a study that was done. You're going to love this, Jody. It's going to take a few moments, but it's really fascinating. There's a study that was done with people that were clinically depressed. And what they did was they want to, when there's a study done on some condition, usually, there's one group that gets what? Uh, Medication, right?
Right.
So there's one group that were clinically depressed and gave them medication. There's another group that's going to get something. What do you think they're going to get?
The placebo.
Right? So there's two
Right.
things. That's pretty standard. This is where it gets interesting. They gave the third group something, which is they had them come to report to a lab, which doesn't sound exciting for clinically depressed people, but they had to report to a lab, and they had for 30 minutes every day for 90 days, for 30 minutes, they had to do something, which was they had to stand at attention with their shoulders back. They had to breathe deeply, grinning ear to ear,
No shit. That's so cool.
stand up, shoulders back, chest out, grinning ear to ear, breathing deeply, and looking at themselves in a mirror. Doing that. Who do you think had the best change in their depression?
100%. 100%.
But here's the thing, they had to change three strategies. This triad of change is your magic formula, but you have to determine what the key is for you. They changed all three strategies, which is structure, chest out, shoulders back. How do depressed people stand? Yeah, exactly. They
Right.
don't do this that often. Second thing, they had to breathe deeply and grin ear to ear, which is a different behavior.
Yeah.
How do depressed people do? They smile?
No.
How do they breathe? Right? So they had to change that. And then the third thing was they had to look at themselves in a mirror, looking at themselves doing something different, because how do depressed people see themselves? Like
Much less
unhappy,
than.
right?
Right, right.
Yeah. So they had to change all three things. So when it comes to what you asked, you have to determine and your formula. It might be that you have to listen to some rocking music and dance around. It might be that you have to go outside. It might be that you have to, get out of a computer doing this and stand differently for a little bit. But you may have to see someone else having fun, right? So that's the thing, is you have to determine what's your formula that helps you access more than what you're accessing.
Right. So, how much of what we do as chiropractors, as wellness providers, as participants in the community, do you feel is about serving joy or reminding people of their joy?
It's all about that, and that's what we do in Mile High. That's what we do
Mm-hmm.
in Lifetime Wellness. That's what I do in
Mm-hmm.
the network programs that I'm involved with teaching. But all those things, and in taking care of people in our office, at our office in Boulder, all those things connect back in my mind with one thing that really all chiropractors do, which is they connect people to more.
Mm-hmm.
Jody, when you're taking care of people, you are connecting people to more. Someone
Mm-hmm.
who's a chiropractor that takes care of someone for pain is connecting people to more. Okay. Another healthcare professional, whether it be an actress, they're connecting people to more than what the person was experiencing before. And our lifetime wellness events, when we training people to be successful in practice, we are connecting them to more than what they're accessing in practice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what happens is when you focus on whether you're someone who does network like me, a chiropractor, an acupuncturist, a student, whatever it might be, if you're focusing on less, that's the path to pain.
Right.
And it's having the same experience, meaning, oh, how do we help this person have less headaches? That's really not that inspiring. And hey, I don't want someone to have a headache. It's miserable. And if that's the only level of gain, You're
Mhm.
only going to have so much gain and joy as a practitioner.
It's really fun to like have Mrs. Jones come in and tell you that her ankle's been clicking and to say to her, that's so cool because dead people don't make clicks. Like you're so alive, Mrs. Jones. And then to watch her laugh, to watch her giggle and change the channel. Now let's go face down and make sure that all systems are go, right? So can you tell us about, you've mentioned lifetime wellness practice a couple times. Can you tell us about what that is?
You know, Rochelle and I, one of the things that we have much joy with is practice
Mm-hmm.
and taking care of people in our office. And, we got the phone calls, emails, text messages, Facebook things keep coming in because people knew we were having fun in practice and being very financially successful. And like, how do we do this? Can I have your forms? What do you say? We're not making it. We're sad. We're in pain. I think we're going to drive Uber or whatever it might be. And I had enough pain watching chiropractors serving hot dogs at baseball games,
Mm,
becoming bartenders, driving Uber, that were brilliant, wonderful chiropractors. And not that there's anything wrong with doing those things, but they have
mm-hmm.
a bigger gift in their hands that I finally said, you know what? I can't keep messaging and contacting individual people. It's tiring me out. It's not joyful for me. So I said, I'm going to put on a first training program, and we called it Lifetime Wellness Practice because the intention is to facilitate, help people have systems, team, that they have a practice, where it's like a garden full of flowers of people that are there getting connected to more, wanting to be there for connecting to more, and for a long-term vision of chiropractic as part of their healthcare, not something where they get less of something for just a little bit. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
focus on people just giving them less and having less of something they don't like, they're going to be there less. They're not
That's
going to be there
so
at all.
true. So, how do you? I want to go back to lifetime wellness practice, but how do you pivot that conversation with people where they're talking about, I want less headaches, I want less back pain? Do you have a go to system for just double clicking and flipping the conversation?
What would you like to replace that experience with?
And just asking a simple question.
What would you like to replace that experience? Oh, that really sounds pretty awful. What would you like your body's experience to be instead? Let's move towards that. See, because here's the thing, there's a reason why the rearview mirror is 10% of your view when you're driving a car forward, because you have to look back at it at times, but 90% of the view should be going forward. And if you're
Mm,
only focusing on less and like doing this, you're never going to really go forward in terms of your health and well-being, right? You're only going to go forward so much. It's not
mhm,
going to be a level of extraordinary. Like if you're going to put energy towards your health, let's go for extraordinary rather than just kind of ho hum. Like it's that question that probably every healthcare provider and definitely every chiropractor's been asked, which is this normal? Isn't like everybody have spines that are messed up? Or, well, isn't everybody like that? Well, why do you want to be like everybody?
mm,
Like, don't is if you just want to be like everybody, don't come see me because not going to make you like everybody. We're going to make
mhm.
you like more extraordinary than the average person. And if that's, if you only want that, you're going to ruin my reputation. Please don't come here. Like, so,
And it's
like,
true.
this is,
There's something about you guys offer Mile High every year, which is, oh, you guys, if you haven't experienced it, please go. There's something that happens at Mile High. It's a gathering of chiropractic and their communities to share on the love and the solutions and the magic and the miracles of what we do as chiropractors. And there's something that happens when you're there where it's like everybody's familiar. And, every person who I didn't know, I'm like, haven't we met before? And I think right. I think it's because of you, and you guys say rise up with Mile High, but I truly feel like your vibration rises up when you get involved with this community, when you spend time with people who are down and their shoulders are down. And like you were explaining, it brings the energetic vibration down. But when you rise up and you can't help, it's kind of like going to church or synagogue and you're like, yes, I love God. Yes, I love life. Right. So, Tell us about how we can get more involved on a regular basis, not only once a year at Mile High. Uh, Hint drop, let's do it more. But if we could get involved in your world on a regular basis, how do we do that?
Well, first thing is if how do I want to say this? Proximity is power, is what Tony Robbins says. You get closer to the fire, you gain. Further distance, it's kind of cool, but your hand's a little bit like this,
Mm-hmm.
right? So be part of the LWP Inner Circle, Lifetime Wellness Practice Inner Circle. It's very easy, lwpinnercircle.com. And there's a Facebook group, and I do 4 episodes a month. In fact, I'm going to be doing the next one pretty soon after this. But I do 4 episodes a month to train your team, to a mentor episode. We have a sales communication episode, an interview with an expert episode, which you were on as an expert. But we've done that for, I think it's 8 years. So those resources are available for people, and it's all in an app, and they can get all the Danny Knowles and Rochelle Knowles they want. So that's lwpinnercircle.com. And in addition to that, we have lifetime wellness events. I do 2 training modules a year. So it's lifetime wellness registration. Our next one, you got to hear where this is going to be. And I decided if I'm going to do things, we do things where I want to go. Right? And Rochelle and I, the cheesy people that we are, all right, was we went on our honeymoon to Disney. So we decided we're going to go to Disney. So we're doing our program just outside Disney. So and it's on Veterans Day weekend. So it's a holiday weekend. So you can choose to close your office on Monday and just spend 2 days in Disney. Because after
Oh,
the event, we're going to go to Disney for 2 days with everybody. So if they choose to. But if you have not lived, so you've seen Rochelle Knowles walking down the middle of Main Street, Disney. So and how much she lights up. So it's a lifetimewellnessregistration.com is when we're going to do that in Veterans Day. And it's going to be I don't do fluff programs. It's a way I get bored. I like don't do
seriously,
something.
you guys, and when you hear this man say that he doesn't do fluff programs, they thought of everything. And every time there would be like, there were snacks handed out. They cheered you when you walked in, like all of the things. They thought of every single thing. And your team, Danny, I love your team. I want to be on your team. I just want to come work in your office and greet. I want to be your greeter. I want to stand at the door and greet people when they come in to get adjusted because
It's funny you say
you're,
that. At our Lifetime Wellness event, we have people greet people and hug them as they come in because
and
but
that's
we
what I felt.
do
It's like every single place the space was beautiful, the speakers were beautiful, the whole thing was beautiful. This is Mile High that I'm talking about. All right, cool. So lwpinnercircle.com. And I know that you have like a monthly membership to your inner circle, which I've been a part of for a while. I love it. Like sometimes I tap in, sometimes I tap out. Tell us a little bit about what members get in LWP Inner Circle.
Well, they get me and Rochelle first of all, and that enough is worth it. But in addition to that, they get a community of people that are on your team. You have a circle of people, not just me and Rochelle, but everybody is there to help everybody win. Right? The intention is to have everybody win, and we do 4 episodes a month. And as I said, I do a mentor episode. I do a team training episode for your team. We have a sales wizard, Hugh Little, who's our communication and sales wizard. He does an episode for your communication for people in your office. And then we have an interview with an expert episode. You have an app that has all that. So if you're not on social media, you can listen to it all you want on the go in your own app. Whatever operating platform system you use, it's also all on a website. In addition to the app, then you get a newsletter. We do your newsletter for your office.
Mm,
We have training for your team. You can take the newsletter and send it out based on what we have, and more. So all of that is for a minimal membership. If you don't get 2 visits or more a month out of that, then you got to check your pulse. So there's basically the investment is like 1 or 2 visits or more a month, whatever kind of healthcare provider you are. And then in addition to that, you get savings on attending Mile High. Your savings on attending the events we do, and enough covers the Inner Circle membership.
mm,
So lifetimewellnessregistration.com is our next event. So Inner Circle members get a savings on it. They get a savings on Mile High. They get savings on all kinds of other things. So it kind of pays for itself if you're close to the fire. So
awesome.
so that's that. And then, for myself and Rochelle, those two live events and the Mile High event, those are the live things we do in addition to teaching spinal analysis. So, and you know what else? Here's the other thing that you get out of it. You ready? Fun.
Hmm.
Okay, because the fun is what's vital.
Awesome. Danny, to know you is to love you.
Oh,
Thanks for
thank
your
you.
time. You're welcome. Is there anything else you want to share with the community?
Just that I love Jody Dinnerman.
Oh gosh and golly, both at the same time. Thanks, guys.
But
I'm checking out. Danny, I don't know how to take this fancy program and not kick you out. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody here, including you, my friend, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for your time.